It's week 3, Mitchell, and already some colossal surprises.
Richard, where should we start? There was a lot of surprises.
Cowboys! I couldn't hold it.
Just take it away, Rich. Let's Arizona. Who would have thunk it? Because I promise you, Vegas wasn't thinking it. A lot
Vegas
of people lost
losing
money today, buddy. That's for damn sure.
Mitchell, anybody who betted on the Dallas Cowboys, Vegas they're loving it, Mitchell, because Dallas was the favorite. And I'm sure nobody bet on the Arizona Cardinals to cover right now. If they did, I mean, they need to get a new job as a predictor. I'm sure a lot of people love to hear their opinions. But my goodness, Mitchell, the Dallas Cowboys, they spent the first 2 weeks, Mitchell. They beat up on the Giants. Defense playing really well. A lot of sacks, a lot of chaos. Ogie Jua. It was a lot of people. Ogie Denzua. Something like that. But Mitchell, Micah Parsons was playing phenomenal, wrecking games. Trevon Diggs was getting interceptions. Stephon Gilmore's getting interceptions. Malik Hooker's getting interceptions all over the place. Everybody's playing their butt off defensively. I kept saying, this offense just is not holding up their end of the bargain. And all I kept hearing from everybody else was, they don't need to. The defense is playing so well, they don't need to show up yet. It's not their fault. They're in blowouts. They don't need to act all. They don't need to put up big points or put up big yards. Dak is just doing what he needs to do to win these games. But it just doesn't look right, guys. It just doesn't look right. It doesn't look like they're an efficient offense. When I look at the San Francisco 49ers, I see an efficient offense, regardless of what the score is. If it's close, if it's a blowout, I know they're going to move the ball down the field. They're likely going to score in the red zone. I watched the Miami Dolphins. They're going to move the ball down the field. They're likely going to score in the red zone. I watched the Kansas City Chiefs. They're going to move the ball down the field. They're likely going to score in the red zone. The Philadelphia Eagles, once they figured out, hey, they're putting the top on the defense. They're not going to let Jalen Hurts and all day always open A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith just take the top off the defense. They're going to make you run it. Well, then they ran for 250 yards and did the same thing everybody else did. But with the Dallas Cowboys, they get in the red zone. They don't score a lot of points. Offensively, they don't score a lot of points. The defense always has to break the game open. And this time, give Josh Gannon a lot of credit, Mitchell, because he knows this Dallas Cowboys team. He knows their tendencies. He knows Dak Prescott, and he kept him in check the entire game to the tune of 16 points, Mitchell. I think it was only one touchdown with some guys on defense that you cannot name, Mitchell. Some guys that showed up a couple weeks ago, Mitchell. And then you're missing your best defensive player in Budda Baker. Now, Kazir White played a phenomenal game. He was all over the place. Give him all the credit in the world. I don't want to take anything away from the Arizona Cardinals. Josh Dobbs, big runs, big passes when they needed them. James Conner ran the ball. The offensive line for the Arizona Cardinals played really well. It was a good game overall by them, and their offensive coordinator called a really good game. So I don't want to take anything from them. So let's not get it confused. I'm not trying to say that Arizona Cardinals didn't play well, but Dallas is supposed to be a Super Bowl favorite this year. Arizona Cardinals were supposed to pick top 3 really, but top 5. Mitchell, nobody expected this result. Dak Prescott got to the red zone 1 for 5, an interception and a 4-and-out inside the 5, both of them to CeeDee Lamb. Well, all 3, because he threw a few incompletions to CeeDee Lamb when they needed to have him. One time they end up kicking a field goal. Micah Parsons got a sack, but this Arizona Cardinals offensive line isn't renowned, so they should have more than 2 sacks, but it seems like people are starting to figure out how to block him. He had a lot of one-on-ones, Mitchell. You could hear throughout the broadcast, hey, they're leaving Micah Parsons one-on-one, telling these guys they got a hard down. Now, he put some pressure on Josh Dobbs, and Josh was able to avoid it, get the ball out, but my God, this is a disaster.
Richard, Josh Dobbs only threw 4 incompletions all game. I mean, I know you're going to be talking a lot this week about the Dallas Cowboys and their renowned number 1 overall defense, but God bless it. The Arizona Cardinals, Rich, they got it done, and they looked good last week too, but as an Arizona fan base tanking for Caleb Williams and having another pick from the Houston Texans when both the Arizona Cardinals and the Houston Texans win? That might be tough as an Arizona Cardinal fan rooting for Caleb Williams, Rich. But I'll say this. Dallas is not who everyone thinks they are. They got still work to do. And to your point, Richard, when you left the Seattle Seahawks and moved a little bit south to the San Francisco 49ers, you told me, I like their coaching staff. I like what they're building. I looked at you like you were freaking crazy because I'm pretty sure the San Francisco 49ers were last in the division the year prior. And you said, Mitch, they got something brewing. I trust you with your instincts. And I trust you with the Dallas Cowboys offense because you're right about that. They have not been tested this year, and they're about to be tested going forward. Trevon Diggs goes down during practice with an ACL injury, Richard. That is terrible, especially in practice on a Wednesday or a Thursday? Richard, how much do you think that had to do with this outcome today?
A lot. You lose one of your best players, a leader on your defense, a emotional leader. You looked at the training camp battles with him and Dak going at it and all the headlines that made. He was growing. He was blossoming as a leader of this defense and as somebody who set the tone for this defense, along with obviously Micah Parsons. But it just shell shocks you. Similar to when the Jets lost Aaron Rodgers, except they lost him on game day. So at least the Dallas Cowboys had a couple days to kind of like deal with the loss, to probably comfort him, to try to talk to him, to try to mentally, because people don't understand. There's a mental, emotional toll to losing one of your teammates, especially a teammate that is that valuable to what you do and your plans going forward. It changes people's livelihoods. You know what I mean? It changes the trajectory of seasons. He's that caliber of player, and he has been in the National Football League. And now you have to find a way not only to try to fill the void just positionally, like somebody else has to play the corner on the right side or the offense is left, but in terms of like everything, all the intangibles that he brought to the table. And he's an incredible person, incredible teammate. You saw the defense looked totally different. They looked totally befuddled without him. There were a lot of holes there, in the run game. They didn't have answers. In the pass game, they didn't have answers. And Joshua Dobbs was very efficient. Like, I don't think he has that kind of game with Trevon Diggs playing. I highly doubt it. So there is an emotional toll to that. But Mitchell, the part that I didn't understand is there were Dallas Cowboy fans all in the mentions, Mitchell, saying, "Oh, you got him too? You're dumb. You don't watch football. You don't understand football." I don't watch. I don't understand. No, I do watch, and I fully understand. I'm not being biased. The San Francisco 49ers, I have a little bit of bias, but I don't need to be with what they're putting on tape. They're putting good film on tape, both sides of the ball. There's balance there. What the Dallas Cowboys were doing, we're putting a lot of good, great, phenomenal things on tape defensively. I saw things that were sustainable defensively. I saw things that were not sustainable offensively, and that would get them in trouble if they ever got in a game where they were behind. And they were behind from the beginning of this game until the clock struck zero, Mitchell, and they could not come back because Mike McCarthy is not a good play caller. He's not. There's a reason nobody calls him to call plays. There's a reason why he shouldn't be calling plays. Everybody was complaining about Kellen Moore wasn't throwing when he should be throwing. He was running when he should be throwing. He was throwing when he should be running. Kellen Moore is out there with Justin Herbert living the best life. I ain't going back and forth with you. I'm living my best life. He was 40 for 47, 400 yards, 4 touchdowns. They were out there throwing the ball all over the yard. And you got Dallas Cowboy fans who, when he was 85% in the red zone last year, complaining that he's not doing a good job. Well, guess what? Now you're 1-5 in the red zone in a game against the Arizona Cardinals, and then throwing interceptions. You couldn't score in the red zone. You couldn't score from far. You can move the ball down the field, but you couldn't get it to the promised land. And now, what do you say? Well, Mike McCarthy's terrible. We all knew that. We've been watching him. We knew that. That's why when he came, Jerry Jones was like, no. Kellen's going to call the plays. But he must have convinced Jerry, like, hey, I'm coaching for my life. I got to call the shots. Well, Jerry, you might need to call Dion or get Dan DQ, start in the fold and start writing them contracts, baby, because this is going to end the same way it always do.
Well, they got a tough matchup next week against the Pats, Rich. I know you're going to be talking about these Cowboys all week.
Mm-hmm. Something magical happens when the third quarter ends and the fourth quarter begins. The energy changes. The fourth quarter is where games are won, where champions are made. And in business, it's where sales teams become legends. That's why HubSpot built Sales Hub to give sales reps the deal-making tools they need to win in Q4 and close the year strong. Sales Hub's prospecting workspace organizes your schedule, goals, and to-do list in one place to save your team precious fourth quarter time. Smart sequences help sales reps close deals faster than ever. With an easy-to-use management tool, reps can find, track, and close deals all in one place. Plus, AI forecasting helps you accurately predict future success, which means less hoping for deals and more crushing targets. Put your sales team on the fast track to winning Q4 with Sales Hub. Learn more at HubSpot.com/sales. It's time for the VLTED challenge. We're going to be using the VLTED app. That's spelled VLTED. Not the whole word, guys. VLTED is a place where you can store your sports predictions and participate in cash prize pools without an entry fee. Download the app and join Richard Sherman's Monday night pool for a chance to win cash prizes. Again, it's totally free to join the pool. All you have to do is answer the question and risk confidence points on each prediction for a chance to beat me and walk away with some serious cash. The first one to 50 will win our VLTED challenge. Mitchell, what's your first pick?
Richard, I know you like Puka Nacua, but golly, it's got to stop somewhere, Richard. I'm predicting that Puka Nacua will have less than 7.5 receptions. I don't feel too entirely confident about this, Rich, but I'm going to risk 3 units here. Richard, why do you accept my VLTED challenge?
Because Puka Nacua, Mitchell, has been catching more than 7.5 since he started day one in Seattle, Mitchell. He's going to catch at least 10. So I'm sorry, Mitchell. Points are gone.
Well, Richard, I'm sorry, but I will be taking those 3 units from you, so I appreciate that donation. Richard, second, I predict with or without Mr. Burrow, Mr. Joe Burrow, it might be Jake Browning's time tomorrow night. The Bengals are going to cover the 2.5 point spread against the Rams. Richard, I believe firmly in this. I'm going to risk 10 points here, Rich. I don't. Richard, why do you accept my challenge, my VLTED challenge here, Rich?
And Mitchell, because I watched the Rams versus the Seattle Seahawks, and that win they got where Puka Nacua, that was his coming out party. Then I watched them against the San Francisco 49ers in all their glory. Mitchell, and they had them against the ropes for the majority of that game. The Bengals, without Joe Burrows, kind of banged up, confidence in the ground. Ooh, and Matt Stafford playing with no expectations. These young guys gaining confidence. Ooh, Mitchell. I don't think you're going to win.
Well, I'll say this. I think it's going to be a tough day for Matt Stafford. He's on the road, right, Rich? He's playing the Cincinnati Bengals. The Bengals are 0-2, I might remind you. They need a win as bad as anyone. And in doing this, I think Matt Stafford will throw less than 252.5 yards. And I'm willing to risk 4 units here, Rich. Why do you accept my VLTED challenge?
Because again, Mitchell, I just watched Matthew Stafford throw for 350 on one of the most vaulted defenses in the National Football League. And this isn't one of them, Mitchell, in the Cincinnati Bengals. Their confidence is banged up. Their leader is out. Oh, they're 0-2. Terrified to go 0-3. Might be over, Mitchell.
I'm willing to risk 10 units that it's going to be a rough night for you tomorrow night, Rich, when you're watching me collect all these units from you on our VLTED challenge, Rich. So there's our predictions for Week 3 Monday Night Football. They are now locked into the VLTED app. If you want to prove you're smarter than your friends,
Mm-hmm.
Go download the VLTED app and use the challenge feature. And make sure to enter Richard Sherman's Monday Night Pool. Not only do you have a chance to beat Richard, you got a chance to beat me. It's totally free to join, and first place wins $2,000. Remember, VLTED. Rich, how's it spelled?
VLTED. And the QR code is right on the screen.
Richard's about to get his ass kicked on the VLTED app here on Monday Night Football.
Mitchell,